Welcome back, guys. We are continuing this France campaign, where we are using the largest disgusting ships possible. I'm going to use this ship one more time in a battle, and then we're going to be switching over to the modernized Dreadnought, which we will use in a few battles, and then we'll switch over to the modern battleship, and then the super battleship, and then we are done. That will be all of the main battleships used. So let's see how these 4 battleships get on against this huge fleet. Well, apparently the latest update, because we are on a new one here, has made shooting at small ships a lot harder, it appears. I think so, anyway. I could be wrong. It might have always been difficult to hit the smaller ships, I can't remember. Definitely seems to me like the accuracy's worse though. But then suddenly it just jumped up to 70% from 5. I'm not 100% sure. Very strange. Oops. Sometimes I'm getting like 97%. Sometimes it's like 17%. Seems to be all over the place. Wonder what it is that's changing the accuracy so much. So it's either going to be the gun recoil or the enemy movement. I think, anyway. I mean, it's still pretty damn deadly. Just seems to be a lot less consistent. Well, just melted them. I don't even think we took 1% damage on anybody. Oh dear. Right, I've been doing some research because I haven't played the game for a short while, and apparently there was a gun erosion mechanic introduced into the game to reduce the accuracy of guns with long barrels. So now in my mind, gun erosion means over time. That is what erosion means, diminishing over time. Now I've searched everywhere in the game and I've done a few battles and I can't see anything to do with something diminishing over time. So I've been trying to find out some information and apparently it's got nothing to do with gun erosion. It's just an excuse to reduce the accuracy of long-range gun barrels because they're too overpowered. Now, why they would slap on a explanation of gun erosion and then not actually have anything to do with erosion is beyond me. Why can't they just say this is too overpowered, we're reducing it, and it's got nothing to do with some made up mechanic which doesn't even explain or doesn't even do what it says on the tin, basically. So yeah, I'm thinking that in the last battle, the reason that I had lower accuracy than in previous patches is because of this gun erosion. Now I could be wrong, I could be missing something, but I've had a look in the help pages, I can't see anything in here to do with gun erosion. Now I haven't looked at every single tab, so I might have missed it. But I think that's what's happening, and it's rather bizarre to call it gun erosion when it's got absolutely nothing to do with gun erosion. But I will try and design a ship and see if I can find some more information out. But in the meantime, I've come across this huge battle against the most modern enemy battleships that I've come across so far. So these are all in the 30 plus millions. Well, not quite all of them, but most of them are. And we're actually 3 times as expensive. But still, these are the best ships that I've come across so far, or the most expensive anyway. So let's check out how we get on. Now these are still the same ships that we've already been using. I haven't got round to ordering the new modernized Dreadnoughts yet, just because I didn't want to do it until I was out of war, and because of the new alliance mechanic, I can't seem to get out of the war. I've already ended the war with America and it restarted again on the same turn, and during that time I've been joined by other nations and they've dragged in 2 other participants on the enemy side. So yeah, it's turning out to be a bit of a nightmare with this stupid forced alliance mechanic. But hopefully we'll be able to end it soon, and then I'll get some new ships ordered, and I'll see if I can find out something to do with this gun erosion. So if you have a look in the shoot info, there is nothing in here that says gun erosion. If we hover over the enemy, there's nothing that says gun erosion. And so, to me, they've just nerfed the accuracy buff, which is fine. You know, I've got no problem with them nerfing the accuracy buff. But don't call it gun erosion, because there's no erosion going on, it's just a flat nerf. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating that... Yeah, I've already said what I need to say. So anyway, let's see how we get on in this battle. I mean, it's not even had that much of an effect, to be honest with you. It's just a bit annoying. It's just annoyed me a little bit because it's just a made-up explanation where all they could have done is just said, this is too powerful, we're nerfing it. Oh dear. Well, that's my rant over anyway. Oh dear me. This patch is incredibly jerky. Not just in the battle, but on the campaign screen and in between loading screens. I don't understand what they've done to make it so jerky. It's like just hovering over missions to see what the ship details are is causing it to jerk, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. I've never seen that happen before in the past, so it is rather bizarre. Well, they don't seem to be firing any torpedoes quite yet. They're not that far out, they're only 5.5 kilometers out. So they clearly haven't got long-range torpedoes yet. Yeah, even against these most modern ships that we've fought, they're still just dropping like flies. I mean, at this stage, we're practically filling the screen with sunk ships. Oh dear, crazy. To think that this is an acceptable level of difficulty is rather bizarre to me. Well, that provided absolutely no challenge and no entertainment whatsoever. Somehow they managed to score 2 victory points. Well done to them. Okay, so 5 years have passed. We've got all of the modern dreadnoughts, modernized dreadnoughts built, and we've got just a single one in battle in the first outing. And we're against a battleship and a battlecruiser. They're both very expensive. And an armoured cruiser. So our ship is a lot more expensive. But it has got a load of junk on it. So that's definitely inflating the price. Let's see how it gets on. Just look at that chonker. Oh dear. That's one big ass ship. Right, so we've got 3 double barrel 13.9 inches, 3 double barrel 12 inches, then we've got 3 broadside 8.9 inches, 4 broadside 4 inches, and 4 broadside 2.9 inches. So it's a pretty similar loadout to the previous ship. To help if I press the right buttons. It's 2 knots faster than the last ship was. Definitely not worth the inflated price though. It's got most of the mod cons on. Got RDF, Hydra 3 acoustics, triple hull bottom, anti-torp 3, barbette 4, citadel 3. Yeah, loads of stuff that I would never normally put on a ship. Okay, so we're actually fighting at 18 kilometers. So I should have increased the AP shells really. I think it'll be alright though. I'll probably get away with using HE. Well, extensive fire on the battleship. Looks like a lot of hits that are landing on the battlecruiser as well. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we get an extensive fire on this one. Ooh, they got a flash fire. That's the first time they've actually done any significant damage to me in the entire campaign. And I've got the best barbettes on, barbette 4. just realised I had the mic muted. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out when we're using more than one ship, seeing as they got a flash fire. I have to admit, I didn't fully check the armour values on the ship. I just threw it together quickly because I assumed that they weren't going to be able to hit me. But looks like this is the first time they've actually been able to design something that's worthy of combat. I'm curious to see if flash fires are going to be common or not. Oh, look at that. All of them versus a single bloody destroyer. What a joke. That's more like it. Let's have a look. 64, 62, 21. And we can't see that one, unfortunately, because of reasons. Right, let's check it out. I mean, we've got 6 ships, so I'll be surprised if they live long enough to land another significant blow on me, but you never know. So I could definitely do with putting some better armor piercing guns, ammo, sorry, on these ships. So they're using armor piercing at 12, 13 kilometers. Yeah, they're pretty damn brutal, these ships are. If I increase the armor piercing, they're going to be even more brutal. Well, they absolutely slaughtered them. It did not take long at all. So, unfortunately, I've destroyed most of the enemy ships and they're taking forever to build them, so we're not really going to have much of an opportunity to showcase this particular design, this modernised Dreadnought. But we have here a Japanese battleship which is the same tonnage as me. So he's clearly using a modernised Dreadnought as well, so let's take a look, see if he's any good or not. We've got 3 of them, so obviously it's not a fair fight, 3 versus 1. I just want to check out, see what he's like. I'm guessing he's just going to retreat. Yeah, right, so we're probably not going to be able to see if he's any good or not, because he's just going to sail away from me, unfortunately. But we can check him out once he's been identified to see what his stats are. Looks like he's already beat up a little bit. That looks nice, that damage does. That looks really cool. See, this game is really nice to look at. It's so close to being a good game. It just falls short on a load of different aspects. Namely, the difficulty. But also the bugs. If they could somehow fix the bugs and make it more challenging, it could be a great game. But God knows if they'll ever reach that standard. Especially if they're only working on it for another 5 months and then they abandon it. Which I don't know for certain that that's going to happen, but that has been mentioned by a few people. Right, so let's just identify it. See what weapon systems it's got. Check out its components. And then I'll probably just play the rest of this battle off camera, because you don't want to watch me chase down a fleeing ship. Right, so it's got 513.1 inches. This one could definitely do with being on a barbette, obviously. But it's clearly got short range barrels because he's not shooting back at me. Looks like I'm about 17 kilometers away. So he should be shooting back at me by now, so he's clearly got a stupid barrel length design. Yeah, some pretty stupid side guns as well. Completely non-uniformed. And he's got rear torpedo launchers. Let's have a look, see what his cost is. 156. Interesting, his displacement here is 666. In the main screen it said 71,000, so it's 5,000 tons less than it said it was in the previous screen. That's a bit weird. Anti-torp 3, double hull bottom, barbette 2, anti-flood 3, citadel 2. It's got some pretty decent protection. He's got no radar. That's definitely going to hurt him. Coincidence 3 rangefinder. So yeah, they're still miles behind on the radar front. Anyway, I'll finish this battle off. There's no point in watching this. So yeah, if I can't get another decent battle, I might end up just upgrading to the modern battleships and giving them five years or so to rebuild the navies. So I shall see you soon. Well, I think this is about as big a battle as I'm going to get with this ship, unfortunately. So it's just against an enemy battleship, armoured cruiser, light cruiser, and a handful of smaller ships, I think. I think there might be a battle cruiser in there, sorry. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing that I can't actually get a decent battle with this ship. But I have got 140 modern battleships in the works at the moment, so it's going to be about 5 years until they get built. Hopefully in that time the enemy will have built up a navy of their own. But I need to get out of the 2 wars that I'm in. I'm currently in a war with Japan and Austro-Hungary because of the alliance system, so I'm going to carry on using these ships for the time being until I'm out of them 2 wars. Just pure obliteration. Right, 5 years have passed. I've got all of my modern battleships built, and this is the first battle that I've encountered with this new design. So they're the same tonnage as the modern Dreadnought, but they're almost twice as expensive. Let's see what the enemy's got. 121 million, that's not too bad. 40 million battle cruisers, so the battle cruisers aren't great. 12 million armoured cruisers, 16 million light cruisers. So they've got decent light cruisers. 5 million destroyers. So the battleship and the light cruisers are good. The battle cruisers and the armoured cruisers not quite so good. Let's see how we go on. Okay, let's go. Well, let's have a look, see what they look like first. That's a tall barbette. I don't think it needed to be that tall. Right, we have got two 16 inches at the front. We've got three 14 inches at the back. Then we've got three 7 inches on the side with five 4.9 inches. Looks alright. Wouldn't say it's the best looking ship in the world, but I'm sure it'll do the job. It's a chunky monster. Wonder what the cruising speed is. 24 knots. It's looking like we've got to risk getting a bit closer to do some proper damage. Well, it was a bit of a slow start dealing with the enemy battleship and battle cruisers, but they make incredibly short work of the smaller ships. Be interesting to see what the accuracy is like against these destroyers. So the major difference between this and the other ships is it's almost 10 knots faster. 35 knots instead of 26. So I'm actually capable of chasing ships down now, even the lightest ships. Let's see what the enemy's speed is, 36, so we're basically almost as fast as an enemy destroyer. Obviously we're only going cruising speed at the moment, but if we were going full speed we would be. Yep, that's a bit of a slaughter. Might just let this last one get away if we don't hit him in the next couple of shots. We've got terrible accuracy against him. Definitely no point in chasing him down. Very nice. So yeah, they had pretty decent armour on the battleship, which is why it took a while. But that was pretty nasty. Oh, right, we are about to put the battleship to the test against the Americans. Doesn't look like they've got any crazy ships. Looks worse than the Japanese ship I fought 5 years ago. So maybe they need a little bit more time in the oven. But let's give them a trial run. I think this might potentially be the last fight I fight with this modern battleship, and then I'll build us some of the super battleships. And that'll be the largest ship in the game. So I might have one more battle after this if I can find a worthy adversary. But I've got a feeling they're going to need a few more years just to get up to speed. So the one thing I have noticed with this particular ship is how bad the 16 inches are compared to the 14 inches. Can't really see it right now. I think it might be when you get a bit closer. The 14 inches improve quite dramatically. I could be wrong though. Might have just not been updating the numbers. We'll keep an eye on it. Doesn't actually look that much worse. But it's still about half as accurate. It's nowhere near half as accurate here, but it's less than half there. So yeah, it does look like the closer we get to the target, the bigger the difference is between the two. So these 16 inches are definitely more of a long range gun. So the one thing that they might have improved on is their torpedo range. So we'll have to keep our eyes open for any torpedoes incoming. But it's looking pretty brutal. Not spotted any torpedoes incoming quite yet. Well, we saw some there, but that's going nowhere near us because it's thinking that this ship is going to go over here, where it's not. Nice little skirmish. Nice and easy. Unfortunately, the campaign details don't work at the end of the campaign, so it doesn't actually tell you how many ships you've sunk. The only thing that does work is it tells you how many sailors that you've lost and killed. So it'll be interesting to see what the numbers are at the end. We haven't lost a ship. I think the lowest that we've come to losing a ship is we've lost 20% of the structure on a single ship from a flash fire, and that's it. So it'll be interesting to see if we can complete a whole campaign without losing a ship. Right, we've got another battle with the Americans, and this time they've actually got some decent ships. I think these are the best ships that I've seen so far, 160 million. Don't think the rest of them are that good, but at least the battleships are decent. They've got some decent destroyers as well, actually. So yeah, let's give this a go. Don't know if they'll be able to shoot straight, but they're expensive. So they're using HE rounds at the moment. What are we at? 16 kilometers. So he must have some fairly decent armor for us to still be using HE at this range. Yeah, I do think that setting battleships up to only penetrate through cruiser armor and then use HE for enemy battleships is the way forward. So you're not just overpenning all the cruisers. Definitely seems like the best way to go. Because with HE, I'm still making short work of the enemy battleships. We could always try to build out the super battleship with battleship killing armament to see how we get on with that. Oh, looks like we're about to crash into a battleship. But yeah, that was pretty brutal. Don't think they barely even scratched the surface. Can't say I'm too surprised. So I'm very close to building the super battleships. I won't unveil them yet, but Italy have declared war on me, or somehow I've got dragged into a war with Italy, and I've managed to get a mission generated just by having the ships in port of 1 billion tons of battleship. Now, seeing as my task forces are only meant to have maximum 5 battleships, I don't know how they've managed to put 14 into a task force. So apparently, if your ships are in port, they don't follow the same rules as if you try and create a task force yourself. But we may as well play this for a bit of fun. Can't imagine it lasting too long. 14 of these monsters. Right. Now, if I set them in a single battle line, the ships at the back are going to go ridiculously fast. And then things are going to go really pear-shaped. So, something I've never done before, which I'm thinking of trying, is set them into a breast formation. Yep. And then set them to follow these. Now, I've no idea what's going to happen here. But it'll be interesting to check it out, I suppose. So I don't know what type of formation this is going to bring up. Bit of a glitch there. So it looks like they're following onto the back of one of the ships, which makes perfect sense. So I reckon that's probably going to work out alright. We've got some ships that are getting a bit close to each other, but can't see it being too much of an issue. So the main problem with using abreast formations is dodging enemy torpedoes is not very easy. So yeah, we're probably going to get hit with a ton of torpedoes here. There's one. Not quite sure it's changing the leader to someone who wasn't even in the same division. Oh, you gotta love the intelligent systems in this game. They are very intelligent. I don't think we took too much damage there, considering the stupid formation that I put us in. So I think there's just a destroyer left, so I'm not going to bother chasing him down. Well, that was the last battle that we're having with this ship class. So I think I might cut an end to this episode, and then I'll give the super battleships their own episode. Well, there's one more battle with a load of small ships, so I thought I may as well finish on killing a load of small ships before I end the episode. Oh dear. Floating turrets. Let's have a look, see if they're not fleeing quite yet. It looks like he might be turning away. Wonder how fast these rear ships are gonna speed up to. They're already 11 knots higher than they should be. 12. 13. So ridiculous. Who thought that was a good idea, eh? Let's fix a problem by creating another. Geniuses. That is a lot of goddamn ships, man. I think they all might be destroyers back here, I'm not sure. Looks like they're in torpedo range. Oh, it's because of these idiots can't keep a straight line. Going 17 knots faster than they should be doing. I wonder if they landed any torpedoes. Doesn't look like it. Them destroyers are quite far away. Oh, I am managing to hit them. Yeah, the accuracy's goddamn awful. Oof. Doesn't matter too much though if a single shot can kill him. Oof. Nasty. Right, that'll do. Okay, well, that will end this era. And then in the next episode, we'll finish off with super battleships. So cheers for watching, take care, and I shall see you soon.